Hello, welcome to this lecture. This lecture is a part of the series of lectures that we are doing on RBI Grade B exams. As you know, these lectures, these sessions rather, started with the purpose of telling you about the exam and then what comes in those exams, and how do you start yourself preparing for those exams, right? And the previous day Samir sir had delivered a lecture on the ESI module of RBI Grade B. What are the questions that came in 2019 and how you could have done those questions, from which areas those questions were, right? And after that in the comments and through the messages that we received, we had requests for doing the same for finance and management module, right? So today's lecture is directed towards that only. We will be trying to do the tell you about the areas of management or that are relevant and what you should do about them, right? So let's look at the agenda. Today we will be taking the management sub-part of the finance and management module and see it in detail. So first we will discuss the syllabus of management as it is given by RBI for this particular exam. Then we will go through the questions of management that appeared in 2019 exam, RBI Grade B 2019 exam. Also at the end, after we have gone through, we will go through each one of those questions. There were around 28 questions in the paper. So you'll go through those 28 questions, understand from which areas those questions came in. We will see the syllabus at the first, so we'll know that idea that these are the areas from where the question came in, and we'll also give you an idea that to what depth you should have thought for these kind of questions, most of them. So and then we will tally all those marks that came in from those questions to the pattern or to the syllabus, right? We will map them to the syllabus, right? How many marks came from this area, how many marks came from that area, and not only that, we will compare it with the 2018 also. Has there been a change in pattern in the last year and the last to last year exams? So we'll see that also, right? And finally, I'll tell you about what should you prepare to what, how do you identify the depth to what you should prepare in management and in various topics of management, and what sources you can refer to for preparing yourself, and finally, how should you prepare in management, the things that you should keep in mind while preparing for management, because you see management is a very different ball game when it comes to preparing for management. A lot of people think that and not only think, there is such a lot of things to do in management that they don't get an idea that where to start, where to end. So that would be there, but how can you minimize that problem of yours is that what we'll discuss at the end of today's lecture. Okay, right? So let's start. Let's first look at the pattern of RBI that course or the syllabus that RBI provides to us in terms of management, right? Chalo, let's see. So components of management. So there are 6 basic. We'll tell them as we'll refer to them as chapters, right? Management, leadership, human resource development, motivation, morale and incentives, communication and corporate governance. So these are the 6 areas or chapters, broad chapters from which RBI would ask you questions in management. Now, inside if you look at what have they said, let's say in management, its nature and scope, fine. The management processes, which includes planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, POSDC. The role of a manager in an organization. So if you look at the 2-line extension of the course of management, you see it's a short and sweet form, it seems very manageable, and it is manageable too if you know the right things to do, and that's what we will be discussing in this lesson. Next, leadership. The task of a leader, leadership styles, leadership theories, A successful leader versus an effective leader. Now this is, even if while you are looking at it, while you are reading it also, you can understand that this is something which is going to be huge, because there would be many styles, there would be many theories, and where to actually stop is something that a student a lot of times don't really understand. So he finds problem in that, right? So obviously it would be vast, but there are enough indicators from the previous year's papers and the kind of questions that have come that you can decide that this is here where we can stop. Then human resource development. Concept of human resource development, goals of human resource development, performance appraisal, potential appraisal and development, feedback and performance counseling, career planning, training development, rewards, employee welfare and whatnot. So if you look at the whole course of management, obviously the first chapter is general management, but if you leaving that, if you look at the volume of content, HRD would be without doubt the most voluminous. But yes, there is an order to it. If you know where to look out for what, you would be able to size it up accordingly. Then the next chapter is motivation, morale and incentives. So what are the factors in it? Theories of motivation, how managers motivate, concept of morale, factors determining morale and role of incentives of building up morale. So if you look at the way the RBI has designed or given the syllabus, it is just giving you the markers or pointers to what is to come. So looking at the syllabus, you might not be very comfortable with what exactly is going to come, right? Because inside factors determining morale, there can be so many things. Inside theories of motivation, there can be a score of motivation theories that would be waiting for you. So where do you start? It's something that should be clear. If you are interested in this exam, then where do you start should be a constant kind of a nagging thought behind your mind, that where do I start, right? Then communication, steps in communication process, communication channels, oral versus written communication, verbal versus non-verbal, upward, downward, barriers of communication and role of IT. And so again, a pretty comprehensive syllabus of communication. Whatever you would study in the management, in the management field, in communication would be a part of it. Okay, and the last chapter is corporate governance, factors affecting corporate governance and mechanisms of corporate governance. So if you look at this syllabus, all the pointers that have been given, are they enough for us? Would that suffice? If we prepare only that, would that suffice? Yes, there is a challenge or a problem of how much to prepare in that. But the first question that comes to your mind is, would that suffice? That answer to that question would be by looking at the paper, by looking at the questions that came in 2019. So let's look at it. First, we will go through the 1 marker questions. There were around 11 1-marker questions. So let's look at them. The first question, which theory says that in an organization, employees compare themselves on the basis of input and output of their colleagues, right? So, this is from which chapter? Motivation chapter, motivation, morale and incentive wala chapter, and the topic is theories of motivation. So this had been already listed inside the syllabus. So this is inside syllabus if you take that to be a syllabus. I am not going to tell you the answers to all of those questions, but some I would tell you. Even if I tell you the answers and you don't know about these, that would not be any way beneficial. But I'll tell you for those questions where you do not need an option to answer the question. For this example, this one, question number 1. What is the theory? It's called equity theory. Okay. So there is an equity theory, and based on that equity theory, this is given. And in the definition of equity theory, this is there. Right. So if you understand equity theory, you would be able to answer this even without looking at the options. Then the second question, who gave the management principles of MBO? Now, MBO, I mean, this is maybe the one of the easiest question that came in last year paper. MBO, everyone knows is management by objectives, right? And it's a you can say it's a slogan, it's a word, it's a tagline that has been popularized by so many management thinkers. And who gave it? the great Peter Drucker. The great Peter Drucker from 1950s has changed, has changed the way people looked at management studies, right? So this MBO is something which every management aspirant should know of. Then the question number 3. Alderfer has condensed 5 needs of Maslow's theory into 3 categories of human needs in which theory? Now, if you know this, I mean, if you have heard about it, you would not make a mistake in it. There is no chance that you would make a mistake. You would know that it is talking about Alderfer's existence, relatedness and growth theory, right? And what is the chapter? Chapter is again motivation, moral and incentive. And topic is theories of motivation. So if you look at the subtopic, so that topic in here, is it from the syllabus? Yes. Achha, if you look at this, was it in the syllabus? Yes, it was. A person moves through various sequential organizational roles through his career in an organization. What is this known as? You'll obviously have to have the options. You can take the help of the options, but even if you don't have the options, you can say that this is what career path means, right? Now, this is a question of human resource development, and it comes under the topic career planning. Now, this was also a part of the syllabus. Okay. So career path is the answer to this question, and this was part of the syllabus. So if you had gone through the syllabus, I mean studied what was there in the syllabus in detail, you could have answered all the 4 questions out here. The 5th question: which of the following assessment, process analysis and employees' personality traits and psychological process to assess his future potential? Now, this is something for which you will need options, because there are multiple assessment process analysis. So which one out of, I mean, in the 4 options, there would be only one that would be correct, right? So the others would be wrong. So you'll have to pick that. And which topic is it from? Human resource development chapter, but which topic? Performance appraisal. Again, a topic which was in the syllabus. So if you had studied the syllabus or the topics in the syllabus well, you could have answered all these 5 questions. And the point is now is that from where could we have studied this? Now this theory for the equity theory, the ERG theory, all of these theories or the motivation theories, you'll have to refer to around 2 to 3 different books, and I'll tell you which books, and you'll not get all of them at one place. But if you refer to those 2-3 books, you would get the collection would be more than enough to help you answer these questions. So and at the end I'll tell you about the sources. So all those sources I'll list down so that it is helpful for you. So where can we start? We can start from here. Okay, chalo. Next question number 6. Again 1 markers. These are all 1 markers. Which of the following is a 4-stage training evaluation model? Now again a human resource development question, and the topic is training and development. Okay. Now this, if anyone has studied, training and development is a syllabus topic. So if anyone has studied training and development in detail, they would have automatically come across the Kirkpatrick's 4-stage training evaluation model, which is used to evaluate the efficiency of a training, right? So then you could have, even if you did not know the option, I mean, even if you don't have options, you can mark. Even in a fill in the blanks question, you can mark if you have studied. Next, a leadership theory in which a dyadic relationship between leaders and followers are formed is known as what? I mean, again, a theory, what do I say? A definition based question. A definition based question. And the answer to this question is what? Leader member exchange theory. What you can understand that the chapter is leadership and the topic is leadership theory, again from the syllabus. So we had 3 rather important questions. You had 3 rather important questions to be addressed. First was, is it inside the syllabus? How much or how many questions or how the questions are relevant to the syllabus. Second, how much depth we need to go into that syllabus, right? And the third is from where to do, the sources. Okay. So these are the three queries of yours that I am going to comprehensively answer through this session. So listen to me very carefully, because with every question I'll be telling you about what you could have, to what depth you could have gone in there. For example, the leader member exchange theory. I'll start with the question number 6. The training evaluation, if you had just picked up the topic training evaluation and have studied it, the first thing that would have come to you is Kirkpatrick's model. Okay? But in leadership theories, if you have picked up leadership theories, it is not necessary that you would have encountered LMX theory. It might be that you have studied 5-6 theory and you have never encountered LMX theory. So here for leadership theories, you need to go to more depth. Right, so it's one level deeper than the question number 6. So you'll have to understand these nuances. Now, question number 8. Which is a leadership style in which rewards are given for contingent performance? Right, and chapter leadership and leadership styles. Obviously, again, this is a question which will be based on your options, because there will be multiple leadership styles in which you can reward them with contingent performances. So this is based on the options. But the idea here is that now you know that all styles, leadership styles that gives result on contingent performances, you'll have to know about them. Next, which of the following is the indicator of low morale in a team? Again, a purely an option based question, because unless you have the cases, then what is it really saying? Is it talking about labor turnover? Is it talking about absenteeism in work? What is it saying? What kind of, all of these direct us towards a low morale in their team. But what exactly is there in the option? You would need that. And which area is it from? Motivation, no doubt about it. Motivation, morale and incentive, because this is the part of morale. And factors determining morale is what is the part of the syllabus which is there. A person's intellectual abilities, decision-making capabilities, his behavior under high-stress situations can be termed as what? Now, this is a part of leadership traits. Okay. Now, this is out of syllabus if you consider that to be a syllabus. This is out of syllabus. But then this is something that you need to understand if you want to answer this question. So see, there is, okay, we did 10 questions and we got one that was out of syllabus in terms of the syllabus that has been given to you. That doesn't mean that when you study leadership, you would not come across traits and trait theories. You would obviously come across trait and trait theories. So here your judgment has to be very, very fine. I'll have to, anything that is coming as a part of my normal study of syllabus has to be studied, even if it is not specifically mentioned, in the syllabus. Getting my point, right? So even if the leadership traits are not specifically mentioned in the syllabus, you'll have to study it because it is coming as a part of the normal study of that leadership qualities, leadership styles, leadership theories. Okay. Now, which of the following is a type of emotional training? Again, you need to have the options for it. As you can understand that the chapter here is human resource development and the topic is training and development. Okay, right? So these were the 11 one-marker questions. All the one-marker questions are done now. Now, if you look at the one-marker questions, 5 to 6 questions were straight from when you study the syllabi, from the syllabi point of view, you would be able to answer them. 3 to 4 questions where you'll have to dive in a little deeper, right? And one question was not listed in the syllabus, but you would have encountered it if you had taken up the right sources and studied it diligently. Okay. Now we will move on to the 2-marker questions. Now let's look at the 2-marker question. Leader enjoys involving team members and creating social bond and allows more freedom. Which leadership style is described above? Again, this is a topic. Topic of leadership style, and the chapter is leadership. and obviously you will need options in here because multiple options can be correct in this particular area. So you will need an options, whether the relevant option is there or not, you'll have to see it, right? Next, question number 30. A manager retains the cooperative nature of the group and encourages a two-way communication. Which is leadership style is he talking about? So this can come in form of case study also. They would give you a 4-line case where the manager does this, which would essentially mean this. So the question remains the same. So what is the answer? This, this is one of the integrative leadership style that we are talking about. But again, options would help you in this case, right? And nothing, not to mention that these are from leadership style. Okay, now next question. The managerial grid theory was given by whom? Now, if you have heard about managerial grid theory, you would know the answer to this question, and the answer is Blake and Morton. Now, what topic it is? Obviously, leadership theory, and leadership is the chapter. So all of these, if you see, so many leadership questions, and leadership is one of the favorite topics of the examiner, and I'll show you that from which topic how many questions came. But yes, leadership is one of the favorite topics. So that was managerial grid theory. Now this is a very popular theory. If you have studied the leadership theories, you would have come across this theory without any doubt. Then which of the following is related to the external mechanism of corporate governance? So again, this is an option based question. And this question is based out of mechanisms in corporate governance, which is a part of the syllabus. Okay, right? So you need to have the options to answer this question. Which of the following objectives are achieved through internal corporate governance mechanism? Again, an option based question, because which of the following objectives? So you'll have to have a list of objectives, and based on your knowledge of corporate governance mechanism, which you should have studied because it's a part of the syllabus, you would know that would be there. I've just kept the answer to this. Compliance to avoid legal complication was the answer to this particular question. But then again, you will have to have the options to this question to answer this question, right? Okay, chalo. Next 2-marker question, question number 17. Which of the following is a secondary stakeholder in the corporate governance? Again, corporate governance topic, chapters, topic, stakeholders in corporate governance. Now this is something that's not present in the syllabus. It's not mentioned in the syllabus, but you have questions from here. So again a question, from 12 to 17 we came across a question which is not specifically mentioned in the syllabus, but it is there. But you know what, if you have been doing your studies in with taking the syllabus as the base, you would have come across this. Yes, you might have chosen to not do it because of obvious reason, because it's not in the syllabus, but then it would have been a loss to you. Right, so this is something which is out of syllabus, and from the papers analysis you come to know, okay, this is something we need to do. Next, question number 18. In an organization, employees' morale can be boosted by providing what? Again, an option based question, isn't it, my friend? Everything that there are multiple ways you can boost the morale of an employee. So which one would work for in this particular case? Which one would work is based on the options. If there is only one correct, then you would know that this is the correct one and you should be giving it. So unless you have options, you cannot answer these kind of questions. And role of incentives in building up morale is what the topic from where it is. The best strategy to boost morale of a team is what? Again, you see, question number 19 is also an option based question. There are many best strategies. I mean, there can be a strategy of providing incentive at the same time, right? Then providing better facilities at work. So there's so many things to boost the morale. But the point is, only one of them would be there at that point of time in the options. And you need to mark that, right? You need to identify that, which obviously if you have studied, you would be able to do it. An organization uses incentives to motivate employee along with what? This is a question if again, option based question, which you could have answered through common sense also. There were 4-5 questions till now which you could have answered through common sense also, and this is one of them, right? Again, the topic motivation, morale and incentive, and the topic subtopic is role of incentive in building up morale. Now, if you see, the leadership was one very favorite topic. Here we come across another topic which is motivation, morale and incentive. Written communication is preferred in formal communication. This is, I think, the first question on communication. There were very few, 1 or 2 questions on communication, and this is one of them. Written communication is preferred in formal communication because, again, you need an option, because there might be multiple reason for which, and there is multiple reason for which written communication is preferred in formal communication. It is documented, it has legal validity, it can be stored, right? So many reasons. So you'll have to see which combination of reason or which reason has been presented in the options, and based on that you'll have to decide. Then question number 22, next question. Which of the following is true about oral communication? Now again, option based question, you'll have to have the options, because there are so many things which are true about oral communication. Again, communication question, 2 communication questions, 21, 22. All of these are 2 markers. Next question. Question number 23. A leader who shares information with team member is an example of what? Again, a question based from role of manager in an organization. 24. A leader who on the behalf of company addresses a meeting organized by industry body. Again, from the same topic. And the 25th one is also from the same topic, right? So if you look at these all 3 continuous questions from the same topic. A leader who shares information with team member is an example of there are multiple kinds of leader who shares, but one of the major one of them is disseminator, which was also, I think, the option in this case. Then leader who addresses a meeting organized by industry body is playing the role of a spokesperson, right? So this is another information role of manager. There are 3 roles of manager. When you study it in detail, you would see that there are 3 roles of manager, and you understand those roles. And in those 3 roles, there are sub roles, and these are those sub roles: spokesperson, disseminator. For example, this is a strategic role, a decision making role, 25th one, which is planning and allocating resources. This is called a resource allocator leader, or a person, a manager who allocates resource allocator. So you could have answered these questions without option, as I told you the answers. Now, but for that, you not only have to have to know these topics, but have to have an understanding of these topics, because these questions would lead you to those areas where you might be confused between 2 roles. So that confusion has to be reined in through your ability, through your understanding. So if you only know about it, that would not do. You will have to understand what is the role of every kind of leader out there. Then question number 26. The process in which a person seeks guidance and advice from his mentor is known as what? I mean, if when you read it, I mean, when you study, you know that this is called career counseling. But anyways, this is a part of career planning, which is already there as a part of the syllabus, and you would be able to do it. And then next. So for this you'll have to go a little deeper, because you have a part of it. Even these questions are also a little deeper, because the multiple roles, we go into the multiple roles, the 3 roles, but inside the 3 roles many students do not study. There are around 10 to 12 sub roles. Now those 10 to 12 sub roles had to be studied in there, because from those sub roles these questions were there. There were many students who did not study these sub roles and only understood the major roles. They were in for a shock that day, because they could not answer these 3 questions, even they had touched those points of the syllabus. So my point here is that do not only touch, understand them in detail. Okay, next, 27th one. Throughout the career, a person moves across various positions, traveling through horizontal, lateral hierarchy. What is it known as? And it is known as career path, and this is a kind of question. This is a repetition of question. The question that came in earlier and this were same. That was 1 marker, this was 2 marker, right? But they were pretty much the same. And you need just, if you had an idea, you could have scored in both of them. And the last question, A person's vertical movement across the organizational hierarchy is termed as, I mean, there are many options. It's termed as career growth. You can talk about career ladders in that. Obviously, it depends upon the option, what options were there out there. Okay, right. So this is these were the 28 questions, again from career planning. So these were the 28 questions. So what did we see? Let me come on the screen here. What did we see? There were 2 to 3 questions which were outside the syllabus as such. I mean, outside the syllabus from the perspective that they were not specifically mentioned in the syllabus. And there were around 10 to 12 questions where a little deeper understanding of yours was required to to hit those questions correctly. 7 to 8 I already told you, and there were another 4 or 5. So so if you look at, so out of these there were the rest 14-15 questions were easily doable even if you had gone through the syllabus in detail, right? So, and for this 14-15 you need to have a deeper understanding of these topics. Okay, so this is the beauty of the RBI management segment. So it is layered. So though RBI gives you a very straightforward syllabus, the questions are yes, most of the time straightforward, but they have layers to it also. So a person who is just doing it from the perspective, okay, I'll just go through the basic ideas of the syllabus, that would be enough. No, that might be enough for these 14-15 questions out of 28 questions, but for the rest 14-15 questions it would be painful for you, right? Okay, so that is something that we understood today. So your 2 queries, your syllabus query and your query of how much deeper you need to go into, that I responded to. Now I'll tell you, first I'll give you the comparison of from which areas, which are the important areas. You know, a lot of you ask about which are the important areas. First of all, let me tell you, all areas that have been listed in the syllabus is equally important. Having said that, understanding the pattern of exam is important, and why am I saying that? Because you see, you shouldn't be leaving any stone unturned when it's such a prestigious exam. And I will show you the comparison of 2018 and 19, and that would also give you an idea that whether there is a trend or not. Okay, so let me give you that first. So the trend of the exams. So from management, the area of management in 2019, the greens are 2019. 2019 there were 5 questions of 9 marks, total 9 marks, 5 questions. In leadership, in the area of leadership, 5 questions, 7 marks. You see, from management, at the end we had around 2 to 3 questions, so that increased the tally of management. Human resource development, there were 7 questions, 10 marks. Motivation, moral, incentive, 6 questions, 9 marks. So we are seeing that management, leadership, human resource, motivation, all are having more or less equal weightage in terms of number of questions and marks. Communication, 2 questions, 4 marks. Corporate governance, 3 questions, 6 marks. Right. So this is the pattern or the marks distribution of 2019. Now let's look at the 2018 distribution. Management, 10 questions, 17 marks. Oh my God, such a huge, skewed towards the management area. Leadership, 7 questions, 11 marks. Again, more than what it came in 2019. 2018 human resource development, 6 questions, 7 marks. Lesser, na? Motivation, 5 questions, 7 marks. A little lesser. Communication, 1 question, 2 marks. Corporate governance, 1 question, 2 marks. So if you look at this, do you find a pattern? Apart from that, the fact that communication and corporate governance had lesser questions, apart from that fact, nothing is common. Here there are 17 marks, 9 marks, 11 marks, 7 marks. So everything is changing. So though we understood the pattern in terms of how much deeper we should go, how much we should study, but from a perspective of an exam, are they very consistent from the areas that they are giving? No, they are not. They can be giving 17 marks from one area and sometimes they can be giving 2 marks from another area. the next year only they can be giving 9 marks from that area from which they had given 17 marks earlier. So this is important. So what does it tell us? It tells us that we should be prepared for everything. So we should not take any one of these chapters lightly. That's what it tells us, right? Okay. Now, the important stuff is how should you prepare? You know, what should you do so that you are prepared for this coveted exam in the management? First of all, for example, this is true for every topic also. First of all, see the syllabus that we did together also today, but again in detail you see the syllabus again once more, and then make a thorough analysis of the last 3 years paper. I did a thorough analysis of 2019 with you. Do a similar kind of analysis of the 2018 and 2017 paper, and then find out the depth to which in each topic you would need to go. And based on that you have now the idea that do you need to go to this much depth in these areas according to syllabus, on the basis of the syllabus. I gave you some indications how do you decide on that. Then collect sources. Now I will suggest some sources. Obviously you can get beyond that. There are you can use sources beyond these two, but some of the best sources that you can collect. And remember, you would not get everything in one source. You will get management perhaps in somewhere, HRD in somewhere. I'll tell you. For example, the first source I suggest is NCERT Business Studies books of class 11th and 12th. Right. Now from here you would get the basic leadership theories, not the LMX kind of stuff. You might get it, but mostly you would not get it. But the basic theories you would get it from here. Go for the classical theories of motivation you would get from here, and the classical theories of management. All of those you would get in from here, and in pretty much detail, and you would be loving it. Then some part of communication too. Some part of communication also would be there. Then the second book I would suggest is S.P. Robbins' Organizational Theory. A master book for human resource development. All that, you know, career planning and you know, the growth part and the designing of an organization, all those stuff of human resource development would be very easily, not very easily, you'll have to study it, but you'll get it at one point. Then for the first chapter, this is the book that you should refer, and that is Essentials of Management. It will help you in the subsequent chapter also of motivation, but for the first chapter, obviously the management chapter. Okay. Then for the for some the Edward Russell's 50 management ideas. Now this is for all the modern and the classical ideas put together. 50 best of the management ideas have been discussed in Edward Russell Welling's 50 management ideas. A very beautiful book. So in one place you get a lot of ideas. Yes, you would not, that's also not comprehensive, and that would be taken care of from this and this book, right? Then Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats. There had been in 2017, I suppose, there were 3 questions from Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats, lateral thinking movement, right? So you can just go through that book and get the gist of that book. That would be enough. And for the managerial, old managerial theories and also their modern application, you can also refer to a book called Stephen Cummings. Stephen Cummings is the author. History of Management. I suppose the new edition's name is New History of Management. Just check it out on Amazon or Flipkart. So History of Management, that has all the the management theories and their application in the modern context. So that's a beautiful book to have, right? And obviously they in all of these you might be missing something for that. According to syllabus and questions together, if you think that these are the things that are missing, freely use internet, Google. The only thing, when you Google something and study that theory, just check the source. There are so many sources that have been created just by students and people who do not know about them. So I would prefer that you would stick to the official journals and stick to the official websites rather than slide share and stuff like that. Okay, right? So that was collecting sources. So once the sources are collected, now you study one topic one by one. So you study and make notes of all the important parts, theories, application, everything. Practice questions based on them now, which would include also taking mocks, right? Questions as well as mocks. And complete this is very important. Now 7th one is very important. Complete the full course 3 to 4 weeks prior to the exam. Now this is very, very important, right? So complete your whole course 3 to 4 weeks prior to the exam. So that it gives you time to revise, and not only revise, after completing the course, midterm revision is also necessary, because there are so many theories, so many models, you have to remember them, and revise only from your handwritten notes, because notes are your savior when it comes to revision. You just cannot go back to so many sources again and again to revise. Can you? You cannot. So whenever you are studying for the first time, make clear-cut notes. That is going to help you a lot. Okay, right? So that would be all. That is what you need to do, and you have a fair amount of idea, I suppose, now, that how you should go and start preparing for this exam. If you are targeting this exam, you have now a roadmap for management what you need to do. Okay, right? So that will be all for today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.